All right.
Viraconium is called the Crystal Citadel nowadays. It was destroyed by the Fomorians, then reclaimed by the remaining Sidhe. It is a strange mixture of stone walls and crystal towers, patrolled by changelings. The guards at the entrance recognize your lineage, half mortal, half Sidhe, and let you pass without trouble. You have been to both Sidhe courts before, at your master's side, but you know little about them, even less now that they are forced to work together. You hope to gain answers from Yedna the Seer, who despite being a human, lives in the Unseelie court. Nobody knows how the Seer managed to get herself accepted by the Unseelie, but she has lived among them for a long time, so if anyone can help, it's her. They were good friends with Merlin, so she listens to you intently and seems to be willing to help. Nimue is a member of the Sidhe Council now, which means you can't just accuse her. Yedna thinks the only way to confront her is by the challenge of spirit and soul. The trouble is, you are only half Sidhe, which means you will need the support of at least 2 council members. The challenge of spirit and soul is a magical duel of sorts. It is fought in the halls of the Fading Tower with special magical items. The loser is magically bound to fulfill a single command of the winner. Thus, you could command Nimue to tell you where Merlin is. However, such a duel is very difficult, so you would be wise to seek help. The Fading Tower suppresses most magic, but some rare artifacts retain their powers even there. I know of only one person who might have something like that, namely the Beggar King. He is a powerful faun, a trickster by nature. He was named so because he never seems to have anything, but he has even tricked Sidhe lords into giving him their prized possessions. He will no doubt have something that can help you, but the price might be quite steep. You could try gaining the favor of the Icethorn Prince, although he is not an easy person to reason with. Other than him, the only council member who might be inclined to help you is the Emerald Lady. The Emerald Lady is a mysterious Seelie who used to be the Summer Queen's advisor. It is said her wisdom is boundless, and she's able to make a just decision in any situation. If your intentions have merit, she will know. The Icethorn Prince is the most powerful lord left amongst the Unseelie, and is feared even by his own kind. Him and Nimue have long been bitter rivals, so he might be willing to support you. But be careful how you address him, for his patience is short and his wrath is great.
Wait, the seer says. Take my journal with you. It contains my thoughts and observations since the time I began to live among the Sidhe. I do not need it anymore, but you can learn a lot if you take the time to read it.
return to your temporary home and think about what you've learned so far. There is still much to do before you can challenge Nimue. Who would you like to visit next? The Emerald Lady looks every bit as mysterious as her reputation suggests, and her sparkling gaze seems able to read your very soul. Her voice betrays no emotion as she listens to you. Then she quietly asks a simple question. What do you hope to achieve by Nimue's defeat? Revealing your true purpose can be dangerous, but knowing when to do so is the mark of a strong mind. I thought you to be such a person, she replies after considering your answer. Very well, Morgana Le Fay. I shall support you, but your request has to come at a price. There is a place in Wales that you know as the Lost Monastery. There you will find Oberon's crystal, which you shall bring back and present to the Twilight Council as payment for my help. It is a dangerous task, but such is the appropriate price for your request. I shall cast a spell upon you, she adds, that will conceal your presence from the worm's eyes unless you venture too close to them. It will protect you long enough to complete your task, but it will expire once you do. You return to your temporary home and think about what you've learned so far. There is still much to do before you can challenge Nimue. Who would you like to visit next? The Crystal Tower of the Icethorn Prince is almost like a fortress within a fortress, and is surrounded by elite she guards. The prince receives you in his frosty throne room, gives you a hard look, then rudely asks the reason for your intrusion.
Well, well, the little mortal knows how to talk, but my goodwill does not come without a price,
He says with a cold grin.
The North Wind is my birthright, but Aislinn, the Lord of Winds, refuses to bow his head to me. Defeat him, and I shall be generous.
The defiant fool retreated to a place where no human or she may enter. That is why you are lucky to be none and both of those. You shall take this runestone to his realm, open a gateway for my soldiers, and then lead them into battle against the usurper. Now, be gone!
You return to your temporary home and think about what you've learned so far. There is still much to do before you can challenge Nimue. Who would you like to visit next? You find the faun near the mystic pond, at the hub of Veraconium. He sits casually on a mossy stone, with a flute in his hands, and a broad, sly smile across his face. He listens to your request politely, then makes a theatrical gesture. Fair lady, all I have is my flute. It can break harmful spells, true, but its music is what keeps my spirit whole. Without it, my spirit will crumble. Something must keep my dreams alive until I make a new flute. The faun grins and answers in a rhyming riddle. Just something small, nothing you'd miss. All I am asking is a gentle kiss. If that is too much, a few tears will do, out of your heart, sad but not blue. I'm not greedy, don't want to feast. I need yesterday's memories, at least. As you say the words, memories start to flash before you. Then you feel them slowly fade from your mind. You realize you're not just sharing them, you're giving them away, but it's too late. The faun smiles at you once more, then disappears in a flash, leaving his flute behind. You return to your temporary home and think about what you've learned so far. There is still much to do before you can challenge Nimue. Who would you like to visit next? You now know what tasks you must perform before you can challenge your master's kidnapper. You leave the Crystal Citadel and return to your army to continue your journey.
Ah, how I despise those riddles and rituals that the Sidhe consider politeness. That miserable gathering pretends that they are not refugees stranded among the mortals, and expect me, Morgana Le Fay, to dance to their tune before they will help me. I cannot tell you how greatly this infuriates me, but I must please both courts. I must retrieve some petty artifact from a monastery in Wales for the Seelie, and the Unseelie court has asked me to clean up a mess of their own making and kill one of their own who has turned against them. Yes, my lord!
ready to serve.
The enemy hero is casting a spell.
Fire!
Your magic shield is fading. Your magic shield is under normal strength. Your spell was absorbed. Your spell was absorbed. Your spell was absorbed.
Yes, my lord. On my way.
All right. All right. On my way!
The Seelies of the She Court in Viraconium are willing to help you if you bring them the Crystal of Oberon. This artifact is in Wales, in the Lost Monastery, where zealous guards keep it in a small iron chest. The councillors give you a medallion that hides your existence from the dragons which circle over the skies of Wales, so you reach the monastery without incident. The hall of the monastery is big and somewhat resembles the temples built by the Roman invaders. It is getting dark outside. The abbot invites you to supper and you gladly accept his invitation. You follow the abbot to a corridor. You pass a room on the way. The door is open and you see 3 soldiers beating up a prisoner. They are doing a very thorough job. The prisoner is in a terrible shape, but he stays quiet, protecting himself with his hands. The abbot suddenly stops and waves towards the room. When you turn back, you see one of the guards drawing his sword. He stabs the defenseless prisoner, who stumbles to the floor and turns into a Fomorian right before your eyes. The abbot kneels down to investigate the corpse, but he keeps on talking to you. It is a strange building, full of mysteries. I have got used to it over the years. The prisoner and the soldiers might not exist at all, just like this monster. Or maybe they are all real. You keep on walking, and soon you reach a huge refectory where monks are eating their supper in silence. The abbot sits down and nods to you. "Do take a seat," he says, "and tell me, what made you cross the dangerous borders of Wales?" "The crystal of Oberon hidden in an iron chest?" wonders the abbot. "I've never heard about it, but honestly, nobody is familiar with all the secrets and treasures of the lost monastery. And what will you do with the crystal? Will you give it to the Sidhe or to the Christians?" "Splendid!" The abbot seems to like your answer. The supper has already ended, so the old priest asks you to follow him to the archives. "You'll have to talk to Brother Cornelius," he says. "He can help you." When you arrive at the scriptorium of the monastery, you are amazed to see hundreds of manuscripts and scrolls. An old monk waves you closer from a table at the opposite wall. "Have you even begun your journey?" he asks. "Or was it in vain?" "It doesn't matter. I'm very busy right now, so we should decide it the way you usually do with a heroic struggle." However, the world fades to black before you could answer. You are in a room now where you see a dagger-wielding demon attacking you. You don't have time to think over the frightening phantoms of the monastery. You have to defend yourself. After a fierce fight, you overcome the Fomori. When the battle is over, you find yourself in a small room. You see an iron chest with its lid open. There is a translucent piece of crystal inside. It is as big as a human heart. You take the gem and leave through the only door you see. You do not bat an eyelid when you see that the door opens into the hall of the monastery. You quickly leave this strange and creepy place. Join your army and head back to Viraconium to the Sidhe court.
Ready to serve.
Yes?
The warriors of the Sidhe don't sell their swords or their loyalty for money. That is something which has to be earned. If you want to persuade the Sidhe to join your army, you must resort to unconventional means.
On my way.